Charlie died for this. He lived for this, and he died for that. So, crazy reasons to the left, it was Charlie was a Nazi. And the lesson is Nazis get killed. It makes sense. He was a bad guy who got what he did. Of Israel said that, and so did a lot of other people. Charlie was a defender of Israel, which he was, by the way. And therefore, he died for that cause. But none of these explanations, all self-serving, are really satisfactory. They don't capture who Charlie Kirk was.
Fucking go!
Basic level, they're dishonest. Charlie was not a Nazi. He was not killed because he was a Nazi. Yes, he was a defender of Israel. He didn't die for Israel, however. Why did he die? What was his life about? What was the sin, the core sin that Charlie Kirk committed against somebody, power, that got him killed in the end? And the answer is right in front of us, certainly those of us who knew him. Charlie's life was defined by his Christian faith.
Alright, I'm gonna smoke a little bit.
But his belief in Jesus, his life as a Christian.
Get this bad boy going.
From those beliefs, everything he did, said, and believed came from the fact that he was, above all, a Christian. And that is, and was, and in fact has always been.
These little pre-rolls a little too powerful for my liking.
To the rest of the world.
Try a different one.
And why is that? As we're thinking about it,
I gotta get to.
It doesn't seem like the kind of religion that provoked people to anger and violence. In fact,
I got like 200 more things to mine here.
Most profoundly nonviolent.
And let's see what level I'll be in.
Truly nonviolent religion.
I'm gonna try to get to level 60 in mining before I move on.
Who, as he was being led away to be tortured to death on made-up charges, scolded one of his disciples for fighting back. This is a religion committed to love above all, and to living in peace and harmony, truly. It's
also, sorry for the background thing, but I wanted to listen to what Tucker Carlson had to say.
And so you would think it would make
yes,
sense.
sir, Brian. Thank you for being here, brother. Love you.
A lot of Christians living in your country, because they're not going to cause massive problems. Not a lot of sincere Christians are fomenting insurrection at any given moment. Pretty much none.
I'm going to get to level 60 in mining, and then I'm going to move on and continue to mine, smith, all that. Because I've got my stats pretty high to where I can start wielding other things. But I don't have the smithing and the shit to get there, so I need to get the supplies first, then make the supplies, then wear the supplies. All part of a process. I'm fucking working on it. But I got these goddamn pre-rolls, buddy. I smoked one earlier. I almost messaged you about it. I was like, woo! It was unfucking believable. I almost didn't believe it was what it said it was. I said, what is this? I'm actually finna try another one right now.
All of us, whether we believe in Jesus or not, are fallen. We are sinners. We are less than we ought to be. We are not gods. And
I said, I'm gonna get to level 60 on that. And this levels up the crafting and mining at the same time. We're Gucci gang. I'll be 1 second though.
There are limits. There are
rules
that you didn't write that you have to abide by. That's not a judgment. That's a statement of fact.
Oh, I'm finna be in Discord.
It's been the basis of every functioning society.
I don't know if you're in Discord or not, but I'm actually finna hop over there just so I got someone to talk to. Gonna hang out.
Of justice, which flows from that.
Bro, you're not kidding. And it's illegal. I was like, yo, this shit cannot be legal. There's no way.
Period. That's the basis of our law. That's the basis of Western law. That is a threat, a challenge to people who would ignore the limits on their very much including our leaders.
But yeah, we're gonna see what this other one does. Hopefully it's just as good.
Whether they're elected or not.
Alright, yeah, I forgot. My fault, gang.
To do something. And Christianity inherently tells people that. It doesn't judge them, it just states it clearly. No, you do not have the power to kill, except possibly in self-defense. But you can't just go killing people. And you can't go killing people because, and this is the second thing that Christianity that tends to set.
Yeah, again, sorry for the Tucker Carlson in the background. He's live, though.
Christianity
shit just started. I wanted to listen to it.
Every human being is created by God. Every single one. And that means that every human being has a soul. A distinct, unique soul created by God. It is, once again, the only true universalist faith there is. And the New Testament is the story of this. An underread collection of books. That is not the story of the Old Testament. It's very much the story of the New Testament. In the New Testament, all people are God's chosen. Every single one. And the story itself makes that point. The founder of most Christian churches in the early Near East was a former Pharisee, a Jew who was in charge of killing Christians, until he famously met Jesus on the road to Damascus. His name was Saul.
Saul, yep.
Paul, and he is the most prolific author in the New Testament and the basis of a lot of Christian theology. And his life tells the story. People can change, no matter what they look like, no matter what they previously believed, no matter where they're from, no matter what language they speak, because they are created by God. And every person, every single person, whether you like them or their relatives or the way they look or not, has that chance because all were created by God and all were loved by God. That is the basis of Christianity. That's the Christian story. And so a sincere Christian proceeds with that belief. There is no tribalism in Christianity. There is no identity politics. It's the opposite. You may prefer to be with people who look like you. That's fine. But God doesn't prefer to be with people who look like you. God prefers to be with all people because he created all people. He's the God of the universe, not just...
Yeah, so far, this other one, actually, it's alright.
Again, has massive implications for the way...
But ain't like that other one. God damn, that other one had crystals and shit all over it. Every time you hit it, was...
And the first is, if
I said, what the fuck going on here?
Souls, if they, like you, were created by God, then they have freedom of conscience. You can tell them what they ought to think, but you can't make them. You can tell them what they ought to say, but you can't force them. Christianity does not convert by the sword. It can't. It requires free will. And it requires free will because it respects the individual conscience emanating from the distinct soul of every human being. And that is why in the West, which is based on Christianity, our civilization is a Christian civilization, tattered though it currently is. Collective punishment, hurting people for the sins of their relatives, is unthinkable. It's a crime. Because each person will stand alone as he was made before God.
6 more levels.
Every person is equal before God, fundamentally. Doesn't mean each person is equal in his ability. It doesn't mean each person is equal in the choices he makes. Of course not. But it means that every person is a human being with a divine spark inside. That is the core assumption of Christianity. And it's obvious.
But I get playing one-handed.
He believed that. Charlie's been famously quoted for the last couple of days saying he abhors anti-Semitism. That is absolutely right. And he did. He said that in public, and he said it very often in private. He meant it, too. But he abhorred racism and bigotry on the basis of genetics of all kinds because he was a Christian. And he believed that God created each person. Now, why is this a problem for temporal authorities? Why is it a problem for the people in power? Because once again, it circumscribes what they can do. It sets a limit on their powers. If God created each person, infuriating, annoying, disastrously wrong person I'm talking to, then I'm not forcing him to repeat my creed. I'm not in charge of his conscience. Only he.
Yeah, I say this one's a little less stronger than the other one.
And that is a limit. So when Charlie Kirk said, I believe in free speech, he didn't simply believe in free speech because it was in the Bill of Rights. He understood that it was in the Bill of Rights because it's in the New Testament. He understood that's a right that comes from God, bestowed on all of us at birth. And he felt his job, his duty, was not simply to protect it, but to live it. To show people what that looks like. And I just want to play, of the many clips we could play of Charlie Kirk on college campuses, he spent his whole life worn out most of the time. As an older man, I often said to him, how the hell do you get on a plane after
Oh yeah, I still got halfway to go. I'm fucking tore up.
Small evangelical duty to do it, to get out there and talk to people. Why? Not simply to build a coalition or get this or that person elected, but because he believed as a Christian
100 fucking things left.
Convincing people voluntarily with words. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So the Gospel of John begins. Words are the key to winning people's minds and their souls. And he really meant this. He wasn't just repeating the words. He meant it, and it was obvious in the way that he interacted with people who disagreed with him and people who hated him. Here's one clip that tells part of the story.
Would you want someone who is not necessarily stable or ready to bring a child into this world and provide that child the life it deserves, would you want them to still bring that child into this
Without
world?
a doubt. Every life has a moral obligation to be able to live.
If I can't give that child the life it deserves, why am I bringing it to...
Got it. No, this will be my last question. I want you to think about it. If a single mom has two 2-year-olds, twins, and she wakes up one day and says, I can't do it anymore, I can't give them the life they deserve.
Oh yeah, I'm
That's
blasted.
not the circumstance.
Hold on. Should she be able to take out a shotgun and kill both those kids?
No.
Of course not, because you think that would be objectionable. That's why I think it's objectionable to eliminate 2 babies that are 6 weeks old, because they're morally the same thing. One just happens to be bigger. One just happens to be older. One just happens to be outside of the womb. They're both human beings. And you have something in you. Why is it okay to kill a 2-year-old? That's called your soul talking.
You have something in you that tells you...
70 left.
You can call it
60 left.
instinct if you like. Charlie Kirk referred to it as the soul. But both mean the same thing. You have the spark of the divine, God's spark, inside you, and it reacts, it hums, it vibrates, it's a tuning fork. And
Also,
you know, on a
5 levels
basic
away.
animal level, like your dog knows, when something is wrong. You can feel it. And the whole purpose of modern society, it seems sometimes, is to get the rest of us to ignore what we know. That vibration inside us that tells us the truth. Always, it never lies to us. Charlie did not ignore that. And you'll notice that in the end, he appealed to it with that young woman. He didn't scream, "You're a murderer," in his face, though he considered abortion murder, which it is. He felt that deeply. This wasn't a performance. He wasn't another nonprofit phony in D.C. feigning outrage about something. He really believed
Nah, I don't want to
taking
listen to
innocent
bullshit
life
anymore.
was wrong. In the womb
Talk
or in
about
crowded cities.
dumb shit.
Anywhere. He thought it was wrong because his faith tells him it's wrong and because his conscience confirms that belief. And so does yours, and so did hers. So did all of ours. We know when something is wrong. And the people above us shout at us, "No! Really, there's an explanation for it. That's just your super ego barking at you." No. You know in your heart, deep inside, what every person has known, and that is the murder of innocence is a crime. It's a moral crime. And that girl knew it. And in the end, that was Charlie's appeal. Listen to that divine spark inside you. Listen to your soul speak to you. Turn off the music. Get off the drugs. Push the distractions, which it's hard to believe aren't actually designed to crowd out that humming inside us. And be still for a moment and accept what you already know, what you were born knowing. Listen to that. Only someone who appreciates the person he's speaking to as an actual human being could speak that way. Notice how rare that is. It's been noted in the past couple of days, Charlie was a free speech champion. Absolutely he was, and I pray that that's his legacy. But I also think it's important to explain why that mattered to him. It was not abstract in any sense. It was central.
20 more pieces.
Because consider what it means if you don't respect free speech, which is another way of saying free conscience, the right of other people to make up their own minds about the basic questions of what is right or wrong, and to express their views on those issues. If you don't acknowledge the right of other people to do that, and if you take steps to prevent them from doing that, what are you really saying? You're really saying, I don't think you have a soul. I think you're a meat puppet I can control. I think you're an animal, maybe sub-animal. You're a slave. You're a person to whom I can dictate belief. I don't acknowledge that you have the right to come to your own conclusion is another way of saying I don't acknowledge that you're a human being. It's dark. There's nothing darker than that. And trust me, they believe it. The ones who've thought about it. And there are a lot of them. But for a lot of people, particularly those who are just repeating what they think they should say or responding to the momentary rage of the moment, they just throw stuff out. And we've got to hope that the Attorney General of the United States, Pam Bondi, is in that category. She said this just yesterday. Watch.
There's free speech, and then there's hate speech. And no place, especially now, especially after what happened.
How the fuck did I
in our
lose?
Society.
A point. I lost 10
There's
points.
free speech.
What?
And then there's hate speech. This is the Attorney General of the United States, the Chief Law Enforcement Officer of the United States, telling you that there is this other category called hate speech.
Fuck you talking about, RuneScape?
That's a crime. There's almost no sentence that Charlie Kirk, and I'm not running the risk of appropriating his memory for my own ends by saying this, it's provable, There's no sentence that Charlie Kirk would have objected to more than that. And you've got to think the Attorney General didn't think it through and was not attempting to desecrate the memory of the person she was purporting to celebrate, that she just threw that.
Okay, I'm gonna find a magic carpet real quick.
You hope that. You hope that Charlie Kirk's death won't be used by a group we now call bad actors to create a society that was the opposite of the one he worked to build. You hope that. You hope that a year from now, the turmoil we're seeing in the aftermath of his murder won't be leveraged to bring hate speech laws to this country. And trust me, if it is, if that does happen, there is never a more justified moment for civil disobedience than that, ever, and there never will be. Because if they can tell you what to say, they're telling you what to think, there is nothing they can't do to you because they don't consider you human. They don't believe you have a soul. A human being with a soul, a free man, has a right to say what he believes. Not to hurt other people, but to express his views. And by the way, that thinking, not to pile on the Attorney General, who's a very nice person, but that thinking that she just articulated on camera there is exactly what got us to a place where some huge and horrifying percentage of young people think it's okay to shoot people you disagree with, to kill Nazis for saying things they don't like. Why do they believe that? How did we get here? Is it the video games? Is it the SSRIs? Yeah, probably, but what it really is 12 and then 16 years of indoctrination in our schools at the hands of people who tell them that, who say exactly what the Attorney General just said. Well, there's free speech, which of course we all acknowledge is important, so important, but then there's this thing called hate speech. Hate speech, of course, is any speech that the people in power hate, but they don't define it that way. They define it as speech that hurts people, speech that is tantamount to violence, and we punish violence, don't we? Of course we do. They've been taught that every year of their lives. And so naturally, most of them believe it. So when Charlie Kirk is shot in the throat with a 30-06 on camera, I doubt very many young Americans want to see something like that or actually applaud the death of a man, a father, a husband. But they've been told for their entire lives in schools exactly what Pam Bondi just told them. Well, there's free speech, but then there's also hate speech, and woe to those who engage in it because it's a crime. That's a lie. And it's a lie that denies the humanity of the people you're telling it about. And so any attempt
so I really need to go
laws in this country, and trust me, there are a lot
of people
there are a lot of people who'd like to
use a magic
codify their own beliefs by punishing those under the U.S. code who disagree with their beliefs.
I'm not sure which one I want, though.
Any attempt to do that is a denial of the humanity of American citizens and cannot be allowed under any circumstances. That's got to be the red line. Because again, when they can do that, what can't they do? And this is something, by the way, that Charlie thought about a lot and that I had occasion to talk to him about a lot. And I really don't want to make any of this about me because it has nothing to do with me. But I did have reason to have these conversations with Charlie a lot, many, many times over the past 3 or 4 months. And this began at an event that he held in Florida in July, the TPUSA MFest event, Turning Point event.
Okay, so here's the thing. This is what I'm thinking about.
Charlie, ahead of time, we have a cup of coffee in a hotel room. Talk about what's going on.
The golden-footed one is really good,
being,
right?
Of course, a conservative advocate. He was also
for money,
an organizer, a coalition builder, and he was very involved in politics.
So this one is really good for money, but we're doing an Iron Man build. We can't really buy anything, so I don't know why the fuck I would want money. I gotta make everything anyways. I really think I'm gonna do this one. I think I'm gonna do the thieving one. Significantly improve your thieving abilities. I just think I'll be able to get more items with the thieving thing. Like have better RNG and stuff like that. I need the items more than I need the money, in my opinion. We're gonna see.
So it was interesting as hell. But it was also a way to learn what young people are thinking about, talking about, because he was on college campuses all the time. And what is the state of a couple of big debates that are happening within the Republican coalition?
Just because I'm bored real quick, I'm going to kill this crocodile. I'll
and
come
Charlie's
back
views
to
on
doing all
foreign
this.
policy, which I think are fairly well known now, a lot of people lying about them, were evolving, but had really evolved. And who knows why he reached the conclusions he did. I think his Christian faith informed
I think there's a couple quests I have to do too.
Talking to young people, and his views were very much like theirs. He believed that the war on terror had been a net loss for the United States, and it caused incalculable damage, not just economic and physical damage, but spiritual damage to the United States. It was bad. We got nothing out of it. We were only hurt. And he didn't want to see that again, and he felt very strongly about that. And of course, I agreed.
Yeah, that pre-roll is actually pretty good too.
Before that speech that I gave in July, we had a conversation about this backstage, right before I went on. And I was fulminating and getting all red in the face like I often do to my shame. And I was mad thinking about this and thinking about the effort by the neocons in the United States to draw us in to another forever war.
So what I did while I was gone
Iran, of course,
was I'm gonna give the fucking a break. So what I did while I was gone, I leveled up my strength, fishing, and cooking. Come on, let me through. Talk to this guy. Here we go, boom. Now I'm looking for a crocodile. Holy shit. Lizard was huge. Where did I get that out of my face? How's that not a crocodile? It's been a long time since I've been out here. Damn it. I don't remember these quests. I know I don't have much of it. Oops. I'm not gonna lie, I thought when I mined 1,000 things it was gonna give me enough to level up. I'm literally one easy task away from level. I'm really just looking for this crocodile. If I found a crocodile real quick, that'd be really... Nice! Oh, hell no, bro. What? I don't know if I can do it. Ah, nice. Okay, I know it seems like I'm all over the place, but just hear me out. Where do I start thieving at? I know there's like a regular ass dude I could pickpocket around here somewhere. There we go. Here we fucking go. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get this one for sure. Alright. I think this is just gonna be the way to get shit. Boom, yeah. Yeah, this was a good move. We just take to level 20, and then We'll move up from there. Now I should just be able to get. Like whatever items I need. As example, like this is just food, so I can just go battle and shit now. I want to be able to steal better food, though. I'm not gonna lie. Someone else is stealing from my thing. Guy over here. Go away, man. You ain't got the upgrade. Alright, one more level. Stop fucking my flow up, pussy! Yeah, I'll need that later on, I think. I think I can get from the crafting one now. Yep. Nice. Come on, pussy. Those would be useful, but I really gotta go find somewhere else. I'm gonna get to level 25 though. Like the XP rate should be pretty high right now. Okay. It's like not bad for. I don't remember what I put crafting under. Okay, sweet. I ain't gonna lie, I know not gonna be the most popular thing, but I gotta go back to mining for a little. Yeah, I knew that wasn't gonna be the most popular choice. It needs to be done. Not only that, but maybe there's cooler stuff to steal over here. No? For sure, I could get a phoenix feather. Pretty sure they're used for something else. Actually, I'm going to Google it real quick. All right. Well, never mind on that.
Acknowledgement that we've done this before. This happened in Iraq, which we entered into at the behest of those same foreign policy strategists, and it didn't work. And so I was going on at some length backstage with Charlie, and I said, probably not going to talk about that. I'm not going to torture you. I know your donors hate this when I say that. And also Epstein was in the news, and it was clear to me that Epstein's probably not like a Mossad agent or something, but Epstein clearly had contact with Israeli intelligence and American intelligence and French intelligence, but the only one you're not allowed to talk about is Israeli intelligence. But it seemed true to me, and I had done some work on that. I knew a bunch of people pretty close to that story, so I thought that. And I said that to Charlie, and I said, but I'm not going to say that because I don't want to make donors mad. I know it's just going to be like an endless flurry of text telling you to stop or you're going to lose a bunch of funding. And he looked at me, I'll never forget it, and said, go all the way. Do it. Go all the way. I said, man, a lot of things I can talk about. I don't need to talk about that. And he said, do it. So I did it. By the way, I think that conversation, he had a mic on, and so did I. It probably exists somewhere on somebody's server, but that's, I think, a faithful rendition of what he said. And by the way, I'm not trying to blame him for my remarks. You can agree or disagree with those remarks, but I'm saying this only because I was shocked and sickened by the reaction of the ghoulish and really repulsive reaction of the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, to Charlie's death. Basically made it all about him and all about his country. Immediately trying to take the energy, the sadness, the grief that people felt over Charlie's murder and redirect it towards support for whatever project he's involved in. And by the way, Benjamin Netanyahu is not the same as the nation of Israel at all. Bibi is despised by many people in Israel, and if you know people who live there, you know that that's true. There are huge divisions within the Israeli government. I mean, there are certain parts of the intel world in Israel that do not support some things that Benjamin Netanyahu has done recently. So it's not the same as attacking Israel, attacking Bibi, but I don't think I've ever seen anything lower than his attempt to hijack Charlie's memory and use it for his own political ends, particularly because what he said was completely untrue. Charlie didn't hate Jews. He loved Jews. He had tons of friends who were Jews. He loved the state of Israel. He loved going there. He did not like Bibi Netanyahu, and he said that to me many times, and he said it to people around him many times. He felt that Bibi Netanyahu was a...
3 more levels.
He was appalled by what was happening. He was, above all, resentful that he believed Netanyahu was using the United States to prosecute his wars for the benefit of his country, and that it was shameful and embarrassing and bad for the United States, and he resented it. Didn't hate Netanyahu, He wasn't out there with a placard saying that, but he certainly expressed that to me and a lot of other people. And there's no question that Bibi's defenders on the internet will call me a liar or a kook, but that's a fact. And enough text messages exist that I think it can probably be verified in pretty short order. Not that it needs to be, because that is true. Shortly after that speech, there was a very intense attack on Charlie, and to some extent on me, not that I really noticed. But on him, I have no donors. He had $100 million worth of donors. And so, because he was involved in a different project from just yapping on the internet, which is what I do for a living, he was dependent to a great extent on his donors, of course. It's a nonprofit. And they went after him and tormented him. Not all, of course, many were supportive, but the ones who were offended by my speech, and there was a small, very intense group who were, tormented Charlie Kirk until the day he died. 2 days before he died, he lost a $2 million donation because he had publicly pledged to bring me to the next Turning Point conference in December. And he told me over the past couple of months he was losing a lot of donations over that pledge. They put out a flyer basically saying that I was going to be at this event giving a speech. And so he would text me and say, man, I'm really taking a lot of heat for this, and people are really mad. The American Jewish Committee called in a statement Charlie Kirk an anti-Semite, and quote, dangerous. Charlie Kirk, an anti-Semite. He was not an anti-Semite. He was the opposite, and he was not dangerous. He was a great lover of people and a purveyor of peace. He was the opposite, and he was very stung by that. And those of us who've been called names for a long time are a little bit harder to offend. Charlie was deeply offended by that and expressed some of those feelings on Megyn Kelly's show and in other places. But that did not let up. The reason I'm telling this story is because he called me and then came to see me at my house about this topic. And I said to him every single time, look, I've got my own way to communicate my views. This is actually not the most important issue to me. There are lots of things I can talk about. I don't need to come to Turning Point. I can take a year off, no problem. I hated seeing how much he was suffering, the hassle he was getting from people, and I was being attacked too, by the way. It was a huge effort. I wasn't fully aware of it, actually, because I don't go online that much, but there was a huge effort by people, some of whom I know.
All right,
helped.
2 levels away.
Babylon Beef.
Yeah.
Someone who had his own problems with free speech, who was famously canceled. I like Seth Dillon. I had him on a couple of times. I had dinner with him to show support. Seth Dillon was out there demanding that Charlie Kirk take me off the roster, pull me off stage, because I had said things that Bibi didn't like, or he didn't like, or whatever. Shocking that someone whose whole persona is wrapped up in the idea that we all get to speak, and if you don't like it, make a more compelling case, that person and many others like him were advocating for me getting pulled off the stage because they don't like what I'm saying.
Try one of these dabs.
This is a trend, and one that we should be really concerned about. It's not just about Israel.
Victory dab.
At all. The trend is really simple. People with power don't want to
hit level 60.
They don't want to be challenged, ever. That's why we have free speech, to acknowledge that even those of us or people with less power still have a right to talk because they're human beings. You don't own them. So time after time, Charlie would call me or come to see me and let me know, wow, or show me text messages. These people are really mad that you're speaking. And I would always have the same thought, like, I feel pretty moderate, actually. I've never been an Israel hater. Obviously, I'm not an anti-Semite. I just don't want more wars, and I don't want a foreign country humiliating my country and telling us what our laws have to be. I mean, this seems like pretty basic America First stuff. And
I actually like the rework they did on smithing and mining. Smithing and mining used to be so fucking boring.
No problem. He would say no.
It's still pretty boring. Bad.
It's a matter of principle. I want you to be there. Great. By the way, I'm not accusing anyone of being
like the fact that you can click it to keep your adrenaline up, make your dude move faster. Like, all right.
There's a lot we don't know about who murdered Charlie and why, but I don't know, and I'm not going to pretend that I do. But I think it's important to say it out loud because it's a fact, and there are many liars out there trying.
Let's go.
Shamefully, who are trying to distort the truth, a truth that I know and can prove. And the last thing I'll say about
so what we're going for is basically a magic book
on topics that had nothing to do with foreign policy, the famous kind of red line, third rail, can't talk about it. But it's possible that
magic melee build
makes people even madder in Washington, New York, and LA than having non-conventional foreign policy views. is having non-conventional economic views. Man, they really don't like that at all. And Charlie's views on economics and on the way that wealth is distributed in the United States were changing fast, really changing fast, and hardening. Not because he was a socialist, hardly. He was about as much of a socialist as I am, not at all. But because he lived here, and he spent a lot of time with young people, and he couldn't help but notice, because he was an observant and honest person, that they're not thriving at all. And that the chances they'll have lives comparable to the ones they had growing up are very small.
Looking awesome so far.
Most of them won't have houses. They won't own
But I've made a
anything.
mistake currently at this moment.
And for that reason, they won't get married or have children. And so the people who are born here
I opened up this
won't continue their legacy in the United States. It's the end of our civilization. And the root of a lot of this is spiritual, but
now I can't touch my fucking mouse.
And it raises a question, a basic question of fairness. And I tried to address this in the speech that I gave for Charlie in July. I think I did a very good job.
Because I really want to hit this shit.
And the point I was making in
Alright. Sacrifices gotta be made, chat.
Friend, I don't really know anything about that. I don't know much about. I'm not accusing Bill Ackman of a crime, and I'm not accusing him of, being a sex creep or Mossad agent or anything like that. I don't think that.
I know it's been a hit like crazy, so.
What I was trying to say is that Bill Ackman is not creative, particularly intelligent.
Oh God.
Bill Ackman is worth $7 billion. So you have to ask, how? And it seems to me that Bill Ackman is rich for the same reasons that a lot of other people I know are rich, because he's hyper aggressive and he's well connected. And my only point was, if you live in a society that awards the spoils to people on the basis of those two qualities, like the most aggressive, the best connected people get the richest, that's a dysfunctional society. There should be a reward for creativity and decency and hard work, steadfastness, following the rules. Like, you should have to add to the sum total of your society, you'd think. It's not an argument against the free market. It's an argument against whatever we're living through right now. This is really dark and ugly. And if people like Bill Ackman are getting the richest, what has Bill Ackman done? Shorted the market or something? Talk down Herbalife? I mean, I'm not even saying that should be illegal. All I'm saying is, if that's one of the richest guys in your society, you've got a very sick society. I don't think Bill Ackman's like a drooling idiot or anything, but when was the last time you heard Bill Ackman say something constructive or creative? Never. So it's just bad. And it's not just about Bill Ackman, of course. I mean, he's just a minor player in the life of the world, but he's a kind of metaphor for how off track we've gone. And that doesn't seem like a socialist point. Once again, I'm hardly a socialist, and neither was Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, I'm like 2 levels away from the bullshit.
Is at the root of the Christian story. People will be judged not by who their parents were or by how they look, but on their hearts, on themselves, on choices that they made. That's fair. So again, fairness is essential to the gospel, and it's essential to any working society. In a fair society, or a society that its citizens believe is fair, people will comply voluntarily with the rules because they don't think the game is rigged. But in a society in which Bill Ackman makes $7 billion, and the smartest, hardest working, most interesting, creative young people you know can never own a home, in a society like that, you're going to get Mamdani as mayor. You're going to get a lot of bad things. People will opt out of the society because they know it's not fair, it's rigged. That's the only point I was trying to make, and Charlie, not surprisingly, made it much more eloquently, I thought, in an amazing interview, the last interview I did with him, late July of this year. Here's part of it.
We know how to create wealth, but we don't know how to create it for the generation that needs it most. If you look at the economic conditions, you would think the other conditions surrounding it are like abject poverty. These are the problems that third world nations have.
I know.
Our young people can't afford stuff and they have to finance their basic necessities. And yet we're the wealthiest nation in the history of the world on the planet. We have a $37 trillion GDP. We have the greatest companies. And we have all this stuff to brag about. And yet all of our problems would.
Yeah, I don't know if that was worth as sticky as I just got my hands, but it was fun to try.
Super wealthy on one side, like a powerhouse juggernaut, and we are like an economic nightmare on the other side. How did that happen?
So, if there is such a thing as the left in the United States, if it still exists, you would think a message like that would at least get a hearing, a respectful hearing. Like, hey, what about wages? What about the ability of young people to just buy a little house, a little lawn in some subdivision? Isn't that kind of what they say they want? Empower, the most vulnerable, the people who try hard and play by the rules. They called him a Nazi. They didn't care that Charlie Kirk in real life spent his time trying to stop war, trying to, figure out how young people could buy a little house somewhere. Aren't those like left-wing goals? But they didn't care at all. In fact, they hated that because they're for war. Because
half a level more, come on, baby.
For the inequality he described. Because it leads to a volatile society that empowers them. Of course. They're not a check on power, the professional left, the trans community. They're the shock troops of power. Charlie Kirk was a check on power. Charlie Kirk, inspired by his Christian faith, stood up to people fearlessly.
Come on, baby.
What he thought was true.
A little more.
And for that, I will always love and admire him. I want to go down to someone else who loved and admired him and knew him well and played a pretty, I think, important role in the final months of his life, and that is my old friend, Megan Kelly. Megan, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. That was a barn burner, man. You hit on some important big points.
I don't even remember what I said, but I meant it. So I just want to start. So you had this experience last week that I've always prayed I never have. You were on live. You were live when the news came in that our friend had been shot in the throat, and your reaction was captured for all time on camera. And I just want to start by playing it. I thought it was just an incredible moment that said so much about you and about him. So here it is. Oh, well, looks like we don't have a shot. Well, in it, you said, the line that stuck out to me, your first reaction was, he was sent by God. That's the first thing you said. You'd not heard this news before. Why was that your gut reaction to his shooting?
Come on, baby. 3K more.
Because I had spent so much time with him over the past few years, just on the air, Tucker. I never went out to dinner with Charlie. I didn't know him quite like that, like a personal friend. But I'd had him on the show more than 15 times. I'd been on his show repeatedly. I'd been to multiple Turning Point events and talked with him backstage quite a bit. Just done a lot with him professionally, a lot. And I mean, I wonder if he's been on anybody's show as much as he was on mine over the past.
Good Lord, that took forever. Thank God that is done with.
His thoughts on virtually everything, and I saw what people are seeing now, how they were all infused with his Christian faith, that he was.
Now we can go mine, Adamite.
Gave almost everyone the benefit of the doubt.
I came here last night, and there was already people like level 70 and shit like that in smithing and mining, and I was like, alright, guys. Crack me up. It's only been out for 2 days, and we've got people doing it.
Oh god, crazy.
Here we go. Finally got into the mining guild. Let's fucking go. Oh my god, this bitch is packed! Ah! Okay. That's about right. Where's the Adamite? Of course I wouldn't be the only person to think. This is the spot, though. And hey. West.
You've been keeping solid-ish numbers on this shit.
On the stream? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. But I think it's just the hype on RuneScape, I ain't gonna lie. Because RuneScape is wild right now. I wish I should take you to like where it's really at. Like if you go see like the main place where you start, it's just filled with people. They hit record numbers.
Oh damn!
There's been like a 250,000 concurrent players or something like that.
Jesus Christ! On RuneScape.
On RuneScape, I know it's fucking 30-year-old game, fucking ridiculous shit. But yeah, like I said, dude, man, I'm hyped for it a little bit. It's the first time they've done Leagues. So basically, what Leagues is it resets your account, and the higher you get at it, the more XP multipliers you get.
Okay, fire.
So it makes it fun, you know what I mean? Like, not some bullshit. But I'm looking for Adamite. Am I tweaking? I gotta be. That's gonna piss me off because I did all that work and it's not here. Oh! I got all the way to the mining guild. My stupid ass couldn't figure out where it was at. The game itself is so big. I'm gonna just check over it. Okay. Forgot. Right. Well, damn. I guess. Fuck it, I'm gonna skip the whole Adamite stage. I'm going right to Runite. It sucks because I got a lot of smithing to do.
Do it. What up, pussy? Long dead beats is fine.
Oh, cool. I forgot. Oh, also, like, alright, so they keep. Did you see the relic shit that I had earlier? So, every time you level up and you get the XP multiplier, you get like 4 or 5 bonuses that, like, are passive bonuses. But then you get to choose, like, an item or an equipment that will help you do 2 skills at once. So, like, right now, the pickaxe that I have, it was the first one you get to choose. First item you get to choose. I don't remember what the other 2 was, because I knew this one was going to be so good. This pickaxe, whenever you mine it, it automatically smelts it too. So it gives you, instead of doing 2 separate skills, you know what I'm saying? Normally you have to mine it and then go smelt it. But as you mine it, it's automatically smelting it. Good, both the skills at one time. I forgot it did that. Cool stuff.
Oh shit, man. The cold.
It has been fun. I'm not gonna lie. They might have revived the game a little bit. I was already playing it.
God.
On some OG shit. So like they have they've got old school RuneScape, and it has like a lot of players.
Okay.
There's probably only 28,000 players played this shit total before yesterday, or the day before yesterday.
Crazy work.
Yeah, as soon as they drop this, 250,000 people play, that's just insane. They almost 1,000x their fucking player base. I've not seen so many people on in so long. It's crazy. Fun stuff though. I don't give a fuck about that guy's book.
Did that shit. Those
Level I gotta beat Smith tonight. Oh fuck.
never had shit. Did I have shit?
And people are like talking in game chat on here. This is beautiful, man. South of Iraq. Southeast of Iraq. Okay. So I don't have to skip Addy. More to meet this goal. Pieces of this. I'll be ready to go get some Addy and some smithing. What you finna play, Brian?
I'm on 2K.
Yeah, I need to play. Yeah, I'm actually getting a lot of smithing XP for this. Good. Alright, I'm not gonna try and bore the fucking piss out of the thing the whole time though. But I'm trying to do the grinding so I can do the extra shit. So I got to the spot to where I can fight moss giants. So basically what the plan is I'm gonna finish up these. I need 35 more of these ores. I'm gonna mine enough adamite ores to make a set. And then I might need 10 more ruinite ores to make a set. Basically, I want to have the next 3 combat sets ready. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm doing right now. I'm basically getting my next 3 level ups ready. So every 10 levels I can switch to the next set of gear. And keep going. I'm real close to, like, after I get past Ruinite, I'll be close to being able to fight the first boss. Only other thing I need to learn or need to do is get a lot of food somehow, but I think I'll be able to get a lot of food. Oh yeah, that was another part of this shit, is like, you're doing all the shit yourself.
For sure, it's the Super W.
Well, they have it locked in Iron Man mode. So you can't trade other players, which is like half the game, kinda. Most of the time when there's like a skill you don't want to trade or you can't do, someone else has it done, and that's what they do, you know what I'm saying? They'll do one thing and you'll do the other. Alright, wash my hands more. Oh, cool.
Be right back.
Alright, man. It's taking a little while. They're good levels, though. I wonder how many quests they're gonna make me do. That might actually be the end of the run if they end up making me do a bunch of quests. Bastard.
Oh.
Yes.
That he had a much more positive and optimistic outlook on humanity than I do. And I think than you do. I mean, I think we're
Yes.
a couple of cynical mofos. And Charlie wasn't. Charlie was, he was like an angel. This picture that the left is painting of him in the news is
Good one.
totally foreign to my understanding of Charlie or to anything I've known. And I watched Charlie on his show too. I know the things they say he said that were controversial. They just fundamentally choose to misunderstand and misinterpret him. I mean, he was, you need look no further than Erica in order to see that he was real. Like her goodness, her love, their love
I
story,
need like 10
her
more.
strength in the wake of his death.
12
That's
more.
the woman he loved, and that's a woman who loved him. Why? Because he was some devil figure? The opposite. These two were as wholesome as you could find. And everything he said was from his love of humanity and his belief that they could do better. I mean, I am much more like, no, they can't. Let's move on without them. Like, we've got to, you know. And Charlie, I mean, in all of these college campus exchanges, whenever talking about most people, he would feel that everyone could be redeemed. And if he could just get to them, if he could just talk to them, if he could just buoy them up with hope, they would do better. They could see themselves as Charlie saw them, as God sees them. And I just ran into that optimism and that positivity from Charlie so often that I really did see him as God's messenger, Tucker, as an angel sent to us. And it's like,
Goblin Raider
we didn't
boss.
deserve him. I feel like he's gone now because we didn't deserve him.
And these dicks want you to do kind of a lot of quests.
You were too deep for cable news. No wonder you left. That's just such a beautiful
Do that. Dance in the
summation.
Palador party
So
room.
Insightful. I'm not sucking up. I mean it. That's. I wish I had said half of that in my open. So, but what?
I don't remember where the fuck this thing is. Pray to Bandos remains. Don't remember that. Too long since I've done that. Sit down with Tiffany. Oh, those are kind of easy. Got 5 more to go. Come on, baby.
Let's go.
The grind.
The grind.
You say you was playing?
You said what?
What did you say you was playing?
2K.
Oh yeah. Nice.
Trying to get some levels to catch up with Dickhead.
I don't know what you mean. Hold on. Okay. So you can improve your guy as you level him up?
Yeah, that's how you level them up. Just
Okay.
playing games and getting points.
Okay. I was like,
And you
dude,
can
my
do
guy's
that
slow
by
as a
playing
bitch.
NFL games. Or not NFL, what the fuck am I talking about? You can do it in your regular NBA games too. You earn stats and shit.
Yeah, I'm out of here. I need 10 more of these. I ain't gonna lie. We're gonna do all these little challenges real quick.
Fire.
Alright. Finally time for the fun stuff. I say that and I'm about to go smithing, so there's probably another hour of fucking me fucking around. No, the smithing goes by pretty quick. Especially with everything already being smelted. Smithing don't take very. I gotta figure out, okay, the southeast rock. Fucking thing over there. Oh, I'll be damned, there is. Above me a little. Yep. This ore would be right next to where the unicorn is. Super rare things. I just gotta mine 30 of these. And it's going fast. I gotta look at what it costs to make burial armor. Cause I bet you that gives you a crazy amount. I know it gives you a crazy amount. On the base game, so if I could just mine a lot of that and go do that for smithing, that'd be nuts. Actually, not sure they're gonna let me in that. That's this. Yeah, I got the levels for it yet. Probably gonna make 2 more swords and then I can start making the shit I actually need.
Go.
I don't even know what armor I'm with. Steel. Way behind. Skip mithril and go right to adamant. Adamant ruin. Wonder if I have to do the Dragon Slayer quest to wear ruin armor. Oh, I'm gonna be pissed. There's no way to know until I have the ruin armor. I swear the fun stuff's coming. Let's go back to listening to old Tucker.
Why is that so provocative? I've been thinking about
grind it out.
Like, what of all the people that we know in our business, you know, the kind of let me give you my opinion business. I think it's fair to say he was the kindest. I mean, for real, and in private too. Even people he was really mad at, he would always say, "Well, I understand where that person's coming from." It's like, wow, his decency was a challenge to me, who struggled with that. Why was that so offensive to people?
Because it was power. It's so much more powerful, frankly, than negativity and anger.
Yeah.
It's infectious. You know, it's a contagion. It's like a magnet for people, whether they like him or not. They're drawn to him, and he was converting people. So he was a huge threat. That's really, like, I've been asking myself this question a lot over the past week. You know, let's take the accused shooter in this case.
Yes.
And let's say, okay, he was motivated exactly as the authorities say, and he thought Charlie was, quote, too hateful. And this is a guy who's into furries, and he's into trannies, and he's living with one.
Nice.
You know, all the things. Why would Charlie have been targeted?
I fucking muted Brian for a second so I could goddamn
I say all the same things.
not get copyrighted and they say that shit. Fuck out of here.
Independent media say those things. Why? Why Charlie? And sadly, I think it's this factor. It's this magnetism from him, this positivity, this aura, this angel-like aura around him that was so incredibly threatening, way more threatening than the rest of us, because it was powerful and it was winning people over. It was converting people at a rapid rate, and not just any people, but young people. You know, the people who had never been converted before, the people for whom people who talk like you and talk like me had never even tried. They weren't even players on the field. They were seeded in the whole battle. And he said, no, we're not seeding them. I'm going to start at 18 to speaking to them in a way that they can hear and understand me, and I'm going to practice it. You know, for the past 13 years, he practiced. He went out campus after campus, and in the beginning, he wasn't as good as he was in the end. He was good, but he wasn't as good. And so it was a skill he developed over time that made him more and more threatening, more and more effective. And you look at the numbers just in the presidential election. It's not an overstatement to say that Donald Trump has Charlie to thank for his election in November 2024. Swinging the youth vote by 9 points. We've never seen anything like it in the past 100 years. You don't swing the youth vote toward a Republican. Nothing in modern presidential politics. So he was a really integral, hugely important player, even though he was so understated and projected zero ego. So you didn't see him like that. He didn't have sort of the swagger of that in most of his public appearances. He was quick to subjugate himself to whomever he was talking to. But he was way more important than he ever let on. And I think that's why he was perceived as such a threat. That's why him...
Hey, we're almost fucking there. Goodness gracious. The grind, even multipliers. I've got 6 times XP on. Oh my god. Here we go. Finally working on something that matters. Adamant armor would be good enough to fight, at least to go start.
Bitch, you gave me the fucking clap.
Nice.
Nice.
You won't get it again. Alright, now. That's not even a bad one, buddy.
Hell no. Too bad I got AIDS too.
There. That's the one. I'm actually feeling like a peasant in this game right now. I don't have my golden hammer. They're making me use the regular ass hammer. Oh no. I think I can pickpocket the guards here too. Wrong. Another thing I can.
That's my best friend. That's my best friends. Gang, that's my best friends. That's my best friends. That's my best friend.
Him saying the things others would say
Gang,
carried an extra
friends.
layer of threat. Yeah, both to the shooter and to Charlie's many detractors. And I just want to add, as a period to this, as a footnote, I guess, to this, Tucker, you have a lot of it too. And it is the reason why Charlie is not the only one who's been
gloves
or was
and boots.
threatened to cut ties with you or not platform you.
I'm gonna
I
go
too
peep.
have gotten that, especially since you've been more outspoken on Israel. And I couldn't care less the amount of pressure they put on. Like, what are you talking about? This is madness. Why would you want to silence such a powerful, important voice just because you disagree with them on one subject, one on which we've all watched you sincerely evolve as you grapple with principles you've been espousing for years, like America First, like what's happening to Christians, like what's best for us and our kids here, how do I keep them safe? That's my #1 priority. And I've been just absolutely disgusted and recoiled from people who have tried to pressure me on it. It, of course, never happened. But I know from speaking to Charlie, he felt it too. You've heard it from Charlie, that he felt, and there is a layer here of nefarious pressure to have certain narratives go only one way.
Yes.
That must be called out and must be fought.
Well, I should have said in my open that when Charlie was denounced as anti-Semitic and, quote, dangerous by the American Jewish Committee, you were too. That was a press release. I don't know if you've ever even seen it. And I just remember when I read that at the time thinking, okay, these are like two of the most pro-Israel, basically pro-Israel people like on the internet. I don't understand. So maybe we should have this offline, but let's just have it now. I don't get that. Why would you attack? There are definitely people who hate Israel who are not anti-Semites, or people who hate Israel who are anti-Semites. There's a whole range, and then there are like people who have like, you know, religious reasons for wanting to blow up Israel. Those are all threats. Why would they be attacking you and Charlie? And honestly, I feel like me. I mean, what is that? Why attack people who are pretty reasonable, who don't want to get into a fight on the topic, who just want to like have their country thrive? Why denounce them as dangerous anti-Semites? What is that?
And let me just underscore for your audience what I had said. I mean, the sum total of what I had said when they started coming for me, just to show the absurdity of this. I had said on Piers Morgan that Israel was losing the PR war, that they had lost the Democrats and the independents and were starting to lose the Republican Party in America, and it was time to wrap it up, which was a quote from Donald Trump, who had said it a year earlier when he was still a candidate.
All right.
That's what I said about Israel.
Gloves and boots.
Turning point at the Student Action Summit with Charlie. We talked all about Epstein.
I need a lot of smithing levels too.
Frankly.
Right.
And we talked about whether he might possibly be an asset for someone, and I said he might be. And Israel, yeah, would make sense to me. Didn't know, but that's one of the things we should consider and look at. And that will conclude the list of things I said about Israel. That after 2 years of going on the air and defending them every week, turned some weird crowd into, she's an anti-Semite. So, I mean, F these people, because it's a lie. It was even more of a lie about Charlie, who had said even less than me. He had said nothing, like absolutely nothing. And they use those terms about him because he was on the other side of me when we had that discussion, and because he hosted you.
Oh, there's no way I timed that wrong.
Dave Smith in a debate because he allowed one side to be represented, and he had the Israel side fully represented too. So this was just such an unfair accusation, and I don't know why. These very ardent advocates don't accept friendship when you offer it, when you've proven that you are genuinely a friend. I've said openly, Tucker, I don't want to debate. I'm on their side. There's no reason to put somebody on this show so they can convince me that Israel's right. I'm on their side. I agree with that. But in response to those comments, and then ultimately having Marjorie Taylor Greene on, where we criticized AIPAC. I mean, who defends a lobbyist group? They treated me like I was Mehdi Hassan. Not everybody, but like the loudest Israel defenders. And to turn around and call Charlie Kirk an anti-Semite is such a disgusting smear. And you're right, he's young. He was young and wasn't used to being attacked like that by people who supported him and people whose donations are actually really
damn, okay. I need 7 more levels of smithing. But I'm not going to do that right now because it's kind of boring.
And it took a lot for him to be honest about the fact that his opinion.
I'm going to do that for like the offline.
Charlie was like an unofficial.
I'll do that later on. About to finally go kill some shit.
Go.
Now I'll do some research later on how to fucking get like a battle staff or like a better staff, because that's the next step as far as magic goes. Working on the melee stuff. I know how to do it. It's so close. Boom, there we go. Oh, you got jokes. No shot right now. Ha! This game's got jokes. Oh, I hate it so much. Okay. Looks like we're using the mithril sword for a little while longer. Oh, it's not even the sword. How do I change my combat settings? Fuck! was my own fault. Fuck! Alright, well, I'll be grinding a little bit more. But not on that. I get to go fight now. Armor upside. Okay, I'm finally ready to go fight a little bit. Backpack up a trout.
I just hit an NBA record in this game.
Okay. For what?
Most 3-point shot made.
Okay. Like, what do you mean?
Like, I've shot. I'm 34 points right now. It's like halfway in the game. All of them threes. I haven't missed a shot. There's another one. Holy shit, we was losing. We just took the win.
Not gonna take long to get this deep. Sword's doing it. Oh yeah, this is way better. I really think I'm ready for Moss Giants. Oh, I am. I don't know if I was ready for Moss Giants. Doing okay, but they're just taking so much health.
Can you heal?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
You have to eat. In order to eat, you gotta go fish. And then you gotta fish, and then you gotta fucking cook the fish. You see what I'm saying? Everything's a tedious task.
Oh god.
Strawberry seed, that's cool. Was worth it. Okay. How much longer are you gonna be on for, Brian? Like an hour?
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
Actually,
30 minutes to an hour.
Get you cool. I was gonna come play NBA for a little bit, but I'm not even leveled up my guy, so.
We could get into something else if you want. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm vibing. I just need to level up one. That was cool. I got a lot of seed farming. Like. I'm just gonna go down here and kill the mobs that I know I can kill for a little while longer. It's like better to get a bunch of kills, you know what I'm saying, and not struggle than it is to get a couple kills and struggle. Unless it's a boss, because the bosses are.
The home of the brave. save me. What's a line? Someone save me. You don't wanna feel alive.
I get to 40 strength to where I can put the adamant armor on and then call it there. I'll grind later on tonight for bullshit. Tomorrow's stream way more entertaining. Goal is to be able to do boss battles tomorrow. that the game you've chosen?
What?
Ready or not?
Oh yeah, I'm gonna play this for a few.
Kind of close. Seven, nice. Yeah, it might be close. So they got tired of getting their ass beat, so they stopped attacking me. I thought that would happen at some point. I'll just... They've decided to start fighting back again. Oh, it's gonna be close. Shoo! There it is. this armor set on. Then I'll be like, I'm like mid game right now.
Fire, fire.
Nice. Set of adamant. Let's fucking go. Okay, I need to grind for food. More grinding. Tomorrow will be fun. Alright, cool. Hey, Brian. Thank you for being here, brother.
Yes, sir.